Coming from the Philippines, the so-called economic crisis is not new to the Filipino people. While the deep problems of the imperialist-dominated world system are in very sharp focus today, the Philippines, as a semi-colonial and semi-feudal country under foreign domination, has an inherent and chronically crisis-stricken economy and society. The only way it can end the underdeveloped agrarian, pre-industrial, and semi-feudal character of the economy is to undertake national industrialization and land reform. The current President, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, has aggravated and deepened the crisis by escalating the exploitation and oppression of the people under the U.S.-dictated policy of neoliberal globalization and war on terror. The effects of this to the Filipino people is the severe lack of jobs and income, which is the reason why an increasing number of borderline households are going hungry more than before. Lacking gain employment, many marginal families have absolutely no source of income whatsoever, and thus they are likely to face hunger. According to the International Food Policy Research Institute, at least 11 million Filipinos of the 80 million population of the Philippines are among the 1 billion people across the globe living on less than $1 a day, the threshold defined as extreme poverty by the United Nations. At the same time, Filipinos try to look for work outside the Philippines. There are currently 8 million Filipinos working in 198 countries around the world. The Philippines is deploying around 3,000 migrants every day. According to the Philippine Labor Department, the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration Administrator Jennifer Manilili, tens of thousands more people are leaving the Philippines to work abroad despite the global economic downturn. Departures by job seekers rose 25% from a year earlier to 165,000 in January. Today, aside from the economic reasons, the numbers of migrant workers are continuously growing because of their own governments, because their own respective governments are exporting them. Their huge remittances, the money that the migrant workers are sending back home, have surpassed their home country's major export earnings. Financial speculation allows monopoly corporations to siphon off the lifeblood of economies, while trade and investment liberalization allows monopoly corporations to kill off local enterprises, which are in no position to compete. The overall result of globalization is a destruction of domestic economy, massive loss of jobs and livelihood, and the domination of foreign monopoly corporations. According to the World Migration Report, migrants represent 2.9% of the global population. The UN Population Division estimates the migrant population in 2005 at between 185 to 192 million people, up from 175 million in 2000. Nearly half of them are female. However, the socio-economic and political visibility of migrants, especially in highly industrialized countries, is much greater than this percentage would suggest. Migrant workers' remittances have emerged as a major source of external development finance in recent years. Given their magnitude, they have gained the attention of policymakers at the highest level. Labor export has become the largest single foreign exchange earning activity, outweighing commodity exports in a number of Asian labor surplus nations. In 2008 alone, the remittances from overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, have reached 16.4 billion surging 13.7% from 2007. The money fuels much of domestic consumption and the economy as a whole. Canada's Live-In Caregiver program has become very attractive to migrants. This allows them to become a Canadian citizen upon completion of working for 24 months as a caregiver, living in their employer's home within a period of 3 years. Since its existence in 1991, Filipino women comprise the majority of caregivers here. These women in their prime age are mostly professionals, teachers, nurses, engineers, who experience downward occupational mobility with their training wasted and underutilized. They commonly experience low wage, overwork, emotional, verbal, sexual, and physical abuse, often without any support available or offered to them. Through networking and actual exchanges, more and more migrants from the Philippines and our network in the Asia Pacific and the other regions are slowly gravitating towards the formation of an international movement of migrant workers. Migrante Ontario is a chapter of Migrante International. It is a global alliance of 120 progressive migrant organizations in 100 major country destinations of Filipino migrants. Addressing the immediate issue of our rights and welfare here in Canada and in Toronto is a necessity, while we see the importance of continuously linking these issues to a global context. Forced massive migration will always be a byproduct of this unequal global arrangement. Exploitation and oppression of marginalized peoples is surely a permanent feature of this phenomenon of imperialist globalization. We understand that gainful employment, livable wages, food, sovereignty, among others, can only be achieved under a society that is based on social justice, respect, and assertion of national patrimony and sovereignty and human rights. Thank you.